Over 4 billion people call Asia home, over 60% of the world's population. With more than 200 megacities and 3,500 plus ethno-linguistic peoples, it teems with activity and diversity. Asia is also the only continent where Christianity is not the largest religion. It makes up less than 10% of the region's population. Nearly half the population is either Muslim or Buddhist, but in the midst of oppression and resistance, God is on the move. Eastern, South Central, and Southeastern Asia are exploding with significant conversion movements. It is estimated that 80% of new conversions are Pentecostal or charismatic. Evangelicals make up only 3.5% of Asia's population. They have, however, grown nearly 20-fold in the past 50 years. After Africa, Asia has the second most evangelicals and the second fastest growth rate of evangelicals. Evangelicals, however, are very unevenly dispersed throughout Asia, with China and Korea boasting the highest numbers. South Korea is a country of superlatives, with extraordinarily large churches, Christian gatherings, and seminaries. It has the second largest Protestant missionary force in the world, just behind the USA. Pressure on Christians by Islamists in certain regions has led to rapid growth in the number of Christians. Estimates are that 1/5 of the population is Christian. When LISAN II met in Manila in 1989, there were few indigenous churches in Mongolia. Today, there are churches in all 20 provinces. These churches total more than 30,000 Christians. During LISAN II, there were only 10,000 Christians in Nepal. Today, this number has mushroomed to over 900,000. Since 2000, Christians have doubled to over 6%. During China's Cultural Revolution, Bibles were burned, churches were closed, and leaders were imprisoned. For many years, Christianity survived only in house churches. Since then, Christianity has experienced more and more openness and has spread all across China in homes as well as reopened churches. It is estimated that Christians have grown 100-fold since missionaries were forced to leave in the 1950s. Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan have shrinking Christian minorities, mainly of the Eastern European heritage. Freedom of religion since the end of Soviet domination has seen a revival of Orthodox Christianity and a rise in Islam. Evangelical and Protestant churches have struggled to find their place in the midst of this. Yet although Russian, German, and other ethnic Christian groups have been emigrating out of Central Asia, indigenous Muslim groups like the Uzbeks, Kazakhs, and Kyrgyz have seen a growth in Christian conversions in the past 20 years. Since LISAN II in 1989, believers among the Turkic peoples of Central Asia have grown from only a few to numbering in the thousands. The last century saw the independence of many Asian countries following colonial control, whether Western, Soviet, or other. Unfortunately, Western imperial advancement and Christian mission were often seen as synonymous. This remains true. However, this has also stimulated indigenous and creative approaches to Christian theology and practice. Churches have done too little for the oppressed. Many local leaders oppose Christianity, at least in part because it is associated with Western forms and structures. As missionaries and churches reach out to the many people groups in Asia, indigenous forms of Christianity must develop. Persecution is on the rise and proselytizing is prohibited in a number of countries. So many challenges, and yet God is growing His church. How can the church in other parts of the world encourage and support her brothers and sisters in Asia?